Namaskar. Welcome back to Swamev educational series for board examination grade 12. So today we are going to begin with chapter number 5, Parties and Party Systems of India, and its new version of existing chapter challenges two party system and restoration of the Congress system. So these two chapters have been mixed together to form a new chapter, which is being named as Parties and Party Systems of India. So let's begin. So what is a political party? If I have to ask a question, so probably you might say that it is a group of people who come together, form election and fight elections. So in the same manner, this question may be asked, what is a political party? So when we talk about the political party, so you need to understand that this is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. Another important thing is that they agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote collective good. So this is important. That means they want to do some collective good. And remember, the political party or party system which is being created, it is a method to serve the society and the nation. Though the method means its motive may have changed, but still this was the primary motive. So if I have to say, a political party is an organized group, absolutely, who have same ideology or who otherwise have same political position. For example, the Congress talks about secularism. Maybe BJP, its main ideology is Hindutva. And maybe someone is a centrist, another is leftist, then another is rightist party. So who field candidates, and these parties, what they do, they field candidates for elections in an attempt to get them elected and thereby implement the party's agenda. So this is the main definition of what is a political party. Now, when we talk about the types of party, so we need to understand basically a national political party and a state political party. This we are talking about. So what is a national political party? If I tell you that any party which is getting 6% of seats in Lok Sabha or assembly elections and getting 4 seats in Lok Sabha. So 6% of the total seats, votes, 6% of votes and 4 seats in Lok Sabha or assembly elections. It becomes eligible to become a national party, like BJP, Indian National Congress. Then we come to the state political party. So basically, such parties act in the state. They are called regional parties also. So any party which is getting at least 6% of votes, total polled votes, and at least 2 seats in legislative assembly. So what is the difference between national and political party, state political party? Basically, the national political party will get at least 6% of votes in Lok Sabha election and at least 4 seats in Lok Sabha. Whereas state political party, it will get 6% of votes and 2 seats in legislative assembly, like AAP, AIDMK, Janata Dal Secular. So all such parties are regional parties or state political parties. Now, types of party systems. So now this was types of party. Now type party system. For example, You must be knowing that there are few countries uh, which have only one party system. Say Russia. Say talk about this China. Whereas there are other countries which have only two political parties. For example, you have to think about UK, USA, and then there are countries which have several political parties. So they like India. So what happens? These have been named on the basis of what are the different how many parties they have in their country. So for example, this is the first one which is known as one party system. And what happens in such type of, in a single party system, one political party is legally allowed to hold effective power. Although minor parties may exist, sometimes may be allowed, but they largely require to accept the leadership of dominant party. North Korea and China are examples. See here, China, Vietnam, North Korea, then Cuba, Laos. So all such things. Now, two or bi-party systems. So what happens here? There are two parties which are political parties dominant to such an extent in two-party systems, two political parties dominant to such an extent that electoral success under the banner of any other party is almost impossible. And political parties are traditionally parties that are ideologically broad and inclusive. For example, USA. So in USA, we have Democrats and Republicans. So here, Democrats on this way, Republican. Then multi-party system. So if several parties compete for power and more than two parties have reasonable chance of winning, it means they must also have a chance of winning. Only then it will come to be known as multi-party system. So in India, we have a multi-party system, isn't it? So since multi-party system tend to offer more choices to the voter, and it is often considered better than the other party systems. Now, so party system in India and the Congress dominance. Let us see how it has happened. So India has a multi-party system since its inception from 1947. But being a multi-party, India has witnessed era of Congress dominance for the first three general elections, and even later in small phases till 2014. That means till 2014, there was only one single party which had dominated the country and ruled the country in elections. So Indian National Congress has been dominant political organization, and this uninterrupted and continuous existence of Congress and the centrally enjoyed by the INC centrality enjoyed by the INC is also referred to as Congress system. So sometimes you are asked one marker question: what is a Congress system? So let me just mark it. I'll mark. So Indian National Congress had been one dominant political organization, and this uninterrupted and continuous existence of Congress and the centrality enjoyed by the Indian National Congress is also referred as Congress system. Now, if you see the dominance of Congress, could be understood through means you need to understand the first general election 1952, Indian National Congress, Jawaharlal Nehru PM. Then second general election, Jawaharlal Nehru PM. Third general election, if you see, Jawaharlal Nehru. After Jawaharlal Nehru's death in 1963, Lal Bahadur Shastri became the PM. So after that, fourth general election, then you see Indira Gandhi. Fifth general election, then once again Indira Gandhi. Now, period of emergencies, even 75 to 77, there also Indira Gandhi. Okay. And after this, we come to the next part, which was actually the first non-Congress government in this at the center in the country. So that became Morarji Desai and Chaudhary Charan Singh, 4 month duration PM. Now, after this 1980, because they were not able to provide a good alternative, so once again Indira Gandhi came to the power in 1980, and then Rajiv Gandhi became the PM. Then once again Janta Dal and VP Singh. Then Chandrasekhar PM became PM. So that means you are able to see that from ninth general election, that is since 1989, the era of coalition begins. So ninth general election, that is 1989, became a watershed moment from where the era of coalition government for the next almost, you can say, 20-25 years goes on. This became to be known as era of coalition. Now, after that, what happened? After 9th, 10th general election, once again, BJP alliance came. Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the PM for 13 days. He could not prove his majority. Then his government was just withdrawn from the means of power. And after that, United Front government was formed. H.D. Devi Gowda became the PM. And then for a very brief period, say not even 1 year, and then United Front government, I.K. Gujral, in the Kumar Gujral, became the prime minister. Here also, they could not succeed. Then what happened? 11th general election came. And in 1998, again, NDA government was formed for 13 months, and from only one vote, his government was defeated in the floor. If we remember, there is one famous speech by Atal Bihari Vajpayee in the parliament, and what he says, that I will not touch even from means चिमटे से भी ऐसी पावर को न छू जो अगर क्या कहते हैं खरीद फरोख्त से आती है हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग के थ्रू. So I will not just use that to come to the power. So because he could not trade with the people, he could not trade the MPs. That's why his government was defeated with one single vote. But after that, once again in 1999, elections were held, and NDA government, second NDA government was again formed. But in 2004, UPA, United Progressive Alliance System, came. Though it was led by the Congress, but it was an alliance system. And Manmohan Singh became the prime minister in 2004 to 2009. And again in 2009, it was once again elected. And from here, 2009 to 2014, again, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. But after that, we see that in 14th general election, 2014 to 2019, NDA led by BJP, though BJP came to the power by its own. It was the first government which came to the power with full majority after almost, say, 25 or 30 years. After that, in 15th general election, again in 2019, NDA government led by PM Narendra Modi, it came to the power. So you can see, we have seen means chronology, how these party system has acted and how Congress has been one of the dominant force in the election. So these are the different prime minister which we have seen. Different prime minister who addressed the nation from Red Fort on the Independence Day. So if you see, Jawaharlal Nehru addressed the nation 17 times, whereas Lal Bahadur Shastri twice, PV Narasimha Rao 5 times, H.D. Devi Gowda once, I.K. Gujral once. Then we see Indira Gandhi 16 times, second most. After Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi. Then Morarji Desai twice, and Chaudhary Charan Singh once, Rajiv Gandhi 5 times, VP Singh once, Atal Bihari Vajpayee 6 times, Dr. Manmohan Singh 10 times, and then Narendra Modi for almost 8 years. He has been hoisting it. Now, if you see what was the nature of Congress dominance, or you can say why the Congress party became a dominant force in first 3 general elections. So let's try to understand the nature of dominance of Congress. If you see here, These are the first three general election. Lok Sabha election of first Lok Sabha election, then second Lok Sabha election, and then third Lok Sabha election. So these three elections we are going to understand and what happened. So in the first general election, if we talk about, Congress won 364 out of 489 seats. There were total 489 seats, out of which Congress alone won 364 seats. That means more than two-third majority, which came as no surprise because everybody knew that Congress party had the legacy of Indian national movement and had charismatic leader like Nehru who toured entire country for the Congress campaign. The second largest party which came to was there, the Communist Party of India stood second, having only 16 seats in the first general election. So that means the first party, Congress, second 16, not even getting 1/10 what Congress got. So it won a majority of seats in all states except Travancore, Cochin, which is the part of presently. So you may be asked that which was the first state where Congress could not get a majority. So Congress could not get majority in Travancore or Cochin, which is present Kerala, Madras, and Orissa. But finally, in all these states, even here also, the Congress was the only government which made the government. So in the second general election, there were 494 seats. And out of these, if you see in the second and third general election held in 1957, 1962 respectively, the Congress maintained the same position in the Lok Sabha, winning 3/4 of seats. None of the opposition parties could win even 1/10 of the number of seats won by Congress. In the state assembly elections, the Congress did not get majority in few cases. The most significant of these cases was the Kerala in 1957. That became, so Kerala became the first state of India which did not have Congress government in 1957. That means second general election. So you need to understand that how things have gone. Now after this, probably things are more clear now. So why Congress dominated? What was the reason for the Congress's dominance during this time period? So we need to understand that the root of this extraordinary success of the Congress party go back to the legacy of freedom struggle. So that means the first thing was that people used to think that we have got the freedom because of the Congress, and Congress was seen as a inheritor of national movement. That's why people were always with Congress. Second, in Jawaharlal Nehru, they had the most popular and charismatic leader in the Indian politics. He had led the Congress campaign and toured the entire country. That's why. Then we come to the second one. Many leaders. Okay. So many leaders who were in the forefront of that struggle were now contesting election as the Congress candidates. So you need to understand another important thing was that those leaders whom people have thought, whom they have seen fighting for the freedom, they were already contesting the elections. So how they could be defeated? Because people were connected with them. That's why. Then fourth, the Congress was already a very well organized party, and by the time other parties could even think of a strategy, the Congress had already started a campaign. This was another important thing. Remember, most of the parties in India, except if we see the Communist Party, rest of the parties originated only after 1947. And that's why Congress was already organized party. It had its reach across the country. So related with that, second point comes. What comes? Next point is that the Congress had the first of the block advantage. That means it was By the time people even thought that they want to contest elections, Congress had already run the half the race, because it had its presence all over the country, length and breadth of the country, and we had seen the maps, but also had an organizational network down to the local level. Yes, its organization was till lower level. That's why it became most dominant force. Then, most importantly, as the Congress was till recently a national movement, its nature was all inclusive, because being a party which was in a national movement, so it included people from all walks of life. All these factors contributed to the dominance of Congress party. So this is a, remember, a big question which might be asked, maybe 4 marker, 5 marker, whatever it comes. But you will be asked the question that what were the reason for the dominance of Congress in first three general elections. And you have to write these pointers. And these are pointers, I'm telling you, these are pointers. You can elaborate them with the same thing. So now this is another important question. How did Congress acted as a social and ideological coalition? This is important. So if we talk about, so Congress began as a party dominated by English speaking. So if you remember, Congress was established by a Britisher, A.O. Hume, in 1884, 85. And after that, this party basically belonged to the elite people who could speak English, who were well versed, and who have gone to Britain, learned, and came back to India. So that's why it was upper caste and upper middle class and urban elite people who were the part of this Congress initially. But what happened with every civil disobedience movement it launched, its social base widened. So people from all walks of life began to come here. So diversity increased, and peasants and industrialists. Remember this thing. This is important. Congress had the people who were from different ideology, or you may say that they were conflicting ideology. Peasants and industrialists, they do not come together, because one's loss is another's profit. And that's why, but even peasants and industrialists were in the same Congress party. Even urban dwellers and villagers were same. Workers and owners of the mills, they were in the party. Middle, lower, and upper classes and castes, they were also. So all found a space in the Congress, and that's why this made the Congress one of the most beautiful, like a rainbow organization, which connected with all walks of life of the people. So gradually, its leadership also expanded beyond the upper caste and upper class, professional to agriculture based leader. So earlier, which started with the for urban elites, English speaking people, so it also got a characteristic of rural areas, and means even farmers, they also became the part of it. And that's why Congress started to get huge success in the elections. By the time of independence, the Congress was transformed into a rainbow like social coalition, broadly representing India's diversity in terms of classes, caste, religion, language, and various interests, sometimes even conflicting interests. But they worked together in the Congress only. And that's why Congress acted as a rainbow organization, or you can say social and ideological coalition. So this is important. This question has been asked several times in your board examination, and you have to focus on this question. Now, Congress as ideological coalition. Why it was ideological coalition? We need to understand that Congress as ideological coalition, if we talk about, it accommodated the revolutionary and pacifist, conservative and radical, extremist and moderate, the right and left, and all shades of the center. What did I say? That it had a wide base, wide variety of people. On one side, we have the people who had revolutionary ideas. On other side, there were pacifists, there were conservative, where there were radicals also, extremist, moderate, right, left, all shades were there. So the Congress was a platform for numerous groups, interests, and even political parties to take part in the national movement. For several years, several political parties acted under the Congress only. So in pre-independence days, many organizations and parties, for example, Swarajist Party, it was established in 1925 and it was under Congress only. Even the Socialist Party, which was established in 1934, it was working under the Congress only till in 1947, probably. An act was passed by the Congress where person could become only one party member, and then only the Communist Party of India was formed, and it came out of from Congress. So we need to understand this. So if you see here, the symbol of Congress till 1969, it was only bull or oxen, if you are able to see. So it connected with rural areas. Today we see hand. The hand was given by Indira Gandhi. So we need to understand this. So what was the nature of dominance of Congress? If we talk about what was the nature, so India is not the only country to have experienced the dominance of a party. If we look around the world, we find many other examples of one party dominance. But there is a crucial difference between these and Indian experience. So Indian experience of Congress dominance, it's not one party system. It was a multi-party system where every party was given the opportunity to contest elections and win the race. But every time it was the Congress which won because of its nature, or you can say its wide base or popularity among the people. So in some countries like China, Cuba, and Syria, the constitution permits only single party, but not in India. So Congress remaining a dominant in multi-party system and through democratic means, and one of the technical reasons to retain its dominance is FPTP system. That means first past the post system, as a non-Congress votes got divided into opposition parties. Now, emergence of opposition parties. This picture has been asked in examinations also. What does the picture show? So the title is Tug of War, if you see here. The opposition is trying to topple Congress government, but Congress is like a, you can say, a huge banyan tree, which is the entire opposition cannot even topple. You see here, Nehru is sitting here. He is Nehru. If you see, Maulana Abul Kalam. So all party members are sitting here. See here, Indira Gandhi is also there. Here. So the given picture shows how opposition parties tried to topple the Nehru government, but they could not because it was very strong. So emergence of opposition parties. India had opposition parties in the beginning, which turned India into a multi-party democracy. And that's why we say India has a multi-party democracy ever since the beginning. So some of these opposition parties played important role in politics of 60s and 70s. The roots of many non-Congress party of today's time can be seen in the opposition groups which existed in first three general elections. The presence of opposition helped in maintaining democratic nature. Remember, these opposition parties, though they were negligent in number, their presence was negligent. But what happened? These kept a check on the Congress so that it does not become dictator or autocratic. So that was the most important thing. So the relation between INC and opposition groups were healthy at the time of independence. That's absolutely correct. That people had respect for each other. Despite having opinion differences in opinion, they used to sit together. They used to respect each other. So opposition leaders like Shama Prasad Mukherjee Dr. B.R. Ambedkar were opposition leaders but were part of Nehru's cabinet. Despite being from opposition, they were the part of Nehru's cabinet. So the prominent opposition groups were Communist Party, Socialist Party, Bharatiya Jana Sangh, and Swatantra Party. So these are few parties which we need to understand, and we need to know how they originated, what were their systems, who were the founder, where they operated. So this need to be known. Now we'll come to then different parties. So remember, when you are asked to write a short note or anything on the Communist Party of India, remember three, four things for any party. If you are asked, the first thing is when it was founded, what was the objective of founding, who were the members, and where it acted, and what is the present situation. So these five topics you have to discuss in detail. So the Communist Party from 1935, the Communist Party worked mainly from within the folds of Indian National Congress. As I told you, a parting ways took place in December 1941 when communists decided to support British in the war against Nazi Germany. So Nazi Germany, they were supporting Britishers, the communists said. So soon after independence, the party thought that the transfer of power in 1947 was not true independence, and has encouraged violent uprising in Telangana. But later they left the violence and decided to contest elections. In the first general election, CPI, Communist Party of India, won 16 seats. And let me tell you, this was the second in the number after Congress, emerged as the largest opposition party. The party support was more concentrated in Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar, and Kerala. And Kerala, as you know, it became the first state where there was non-Congress government in 1957. So, most important leaders. Now, this question match the following, where one side you will have the name of these people, and another side you will have the parties. So you have to match them. This comes in your examination also. So important leader A.K. Gopalan, S.A. Dang, then E.M.S. Nambudri Pad, remember this will come. Okay. P.C. Joshi, Ajay Ghosh, and P. Sundaraiah. So these were important leader of Communist Party of India. So the party went through a major split in 1964. Remember what happened after 1962 war. There was an ideological shift within the CPI, and what happened? Few people supported China. So what happened? This led to conflict. And what happened? Pro-Soviet CPI group and pro-China CPIM were formed. So CPI, which talk about Soviet Union, and the pro-China who were supported China, they became CPIM, Maoist. Now, if you remember, there is this picture, communist victory for the first time. As I told you that in 1957 election, the second general election, what happened? Congress had a bitter taste of defeat in Kerala. And in March 1957, the Communist Party won the largest number of seats in Kerala legislature, and the party won 60 of 126 seats and had the support of 5 independent people, and in this way it formed the first non-Congress government in the country anywhere. Then on losing power in the state, the Congress party began to the liberation struggle. And what happened against the elected government? The CPI had come to power in the promise of carrying out radical and progressive policies measures. The communists claimed that the agitation was led by vested interest and religious organization. In 1959, the Congress government at the center dismissed the communist government. So what happened? Let me just. So what happened? In 1959, The Congress government at the center dismissed communist government in Kerala under Article 356. This is the first misuse of Article 356 of the Constitution, which we have seen, that a democratic elected government was removed. So the decision proved very controversial and was widely cited as the first instance of misuse of constitutional emergency powers, which is known as precedent rule. So EMS Nambudri Pad leading a procession of Communist Party workers after his ministry was dismissed from office in Trivandrum in August 1959. Now, let us come to the Socialist Party. The second party which we are talking about, it is known as Socialist Party. Let us understand what it did. So, the Congress Socialist Party. Now, again, you see, it also had its base only in Congress. So it was formed in 1934 under the Congress. And these were the people who wanted a more radical and egalitarian Congress. So these were radicals. When we read about that, there were radicals, there were pacifists. So here, these were radicals. In 1948, the Congress amended its constitution to prevent its member from having dual party membership. You can become either the member of Congress or the any other party. This led to separation of Socialist Party from the Congress, and it came to be socialists from a separate party in 1948. So the socialists believed, what was the ideology? They believed in the ideology of democratic socialism, which distinguished them from Congress as well as the communists. So why they were different? Because they believed in democratic socialism. Now, when in 1955, the Congress declared its goal to be socialist pattern of society. Now, what happened? Congress thought that let me take their plank, and it snatched the ideology of Socialist Party, which was democratic socialism, and it declared that it was their goal to become the socialist pattern of the society. Thus, it became difficult for Socialist Party to survive. Who were the important leader of Socialist Party? Acharya Narendra Dev. He was the founder. Ram Manohar Lohia. If you remember, we talk about Ram Manohar Lohia in the sense Samajwadi Party, Janata Party. Then Jay Prakash Narayan, one of the main leader. Ashok Mehta, all such great economists. So such type of great people were the part of Socialist Party. Now, current parties which have its roots in Socialist Party are Samajwadi Party, Rashtriya Janata Dal United, and Janata Dal Secular, JDS. So all these have grown from Socialist Party only. Now, let us come to the next party, which is known as Bharatiya Jan Sangh. Naam to suna hoga. Now, this same Bharatiya Jan Sangh, this is one such party which was formed after the freedom struggle was over and India became an independent country. So the Bharatiya Jan Sangh was formed in 1951 with Shyama Prasad Mukherjee as its founder president. So Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was its founder. Its lineage, however, can be traced back to the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. So it is said that it is a branch of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh or Hindu Mahasabha, which was established by Madan Mohan Malvi. Hindu Mahasabha was established by Madan Mohan Malvi in 1916. So it emphasized the idea of one country. So what is the main ideology of Bharatiya Jan Sangh? It emphasized the idea of one country, one culture, and one nation, and believed that the country could become modern, progressive, and strong on the basis of Indian culture and tradition, which came to be known as Hinduism. So the party called for a reunion of India and Pakistan to develop Akhand Bharat. So it was the party which never liked the idea of separation of India into India and Pakistan. So the party was forefront in the agitations to replace English with Hindi as official language of India. Remember, English was one language which was earlier said that it has been implemented for next 15 years. It was in 1965 its rule it was supposed to end. But what happened? It is still continuing as the our language. The party was consistent advocate of India developing nuclear weapons, especially after China carried out atomic test in 1964. That means this party constantly thought it could see, its vision was broad, it could see what might happen in the future. And who were the important leader of Bharatiya Janata Sangh? Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, founder, and Balraj Madho. So these three were the main founders. The Bharatiya Janata Party traces its roots in Bharatiya Janata Sangh. So from Bharatiya Janata Sangh came a new party which came to be known as Bharatiya Janata Party. So earlier it was BJS, now it became BJP, and BJP was formed in 1980. So next was Swatantra Party. It is also important, we need to understand that Swatantra Party was formed in August 1959 after Nagpur resolution of Congress, which called for land ceiling, takeover of food grain trade by the state, and adoption of cooperative farming. So that means they wanted a socialist pattern of society, and that's why they were against it. The party led by congressmen, and the leaders of this party were the Congress people only, like C. Rajgopalachari, K. M. Munshi, N. G. Ranga, and Minnu Masani. So Swatantra Party wanted the government to be less and less involved in controlling the economy. It was their main ideology that government should let the government run on the market based, not dominate it, try to centralize it like USSR. So Swatantra Party was against land ceiling in agriculture and opposed cooperative farming and state trading. Swatantra Party gained strength in different parts of the country by way of merger with numerous regional parties and interests. It attracted the landlords, princes who wanted to protect their land and status, what was being threatened by the land reform legislation. The industrialists and business class who were against nationalization and licensing policies also supported this party. Now, 1960s, the era of dangerous decade, and this question has been asked. Why or which decades are known as era of dangerous decade, or why they are called dangerous decade? So what happened? In 1960s, the Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru passed away in 1964. This had generated a lot of speculation about the usual question, after Nehru who? Actually, the question was not after Nehru who, the question was after Nehru what? Because till now Nehru was there, everywhere he could handle the situations, but after Nehru what will happen with India? This was the major question which was asked. Whereas the second question was, it arose from the serious doubts that many outsiders had about India's democratic experiment will survive after Nehru. So they said, after Nehru, what will happen with India? Whether India will remain democracy or it will change its character. Another important thing, a failure to safeguard democracy after Nehru, it was feared, could lead to political role for army. So it was thought Nehru is gone, now army will enter, as happened with Pakistan. We have seen that. So many unresolved problems like poverty, inequality, communal and regional divisions could lead to failure of the democratic project and even disintegration of the country. This was faced. And India faced two major wars, that is Indochina 1962 and India and Pakistan in 1965. Then there was a crisis, food crisis 1967 onwards. So you can understand, then infighting between the Congress only leading to the division of Congress. There were numerous issues which led to be called this decade of 1960s as the dangerous decade. which could have led India into a non-democratic government, or India could have been disintegrated, whatever not might not have happened. But thank God, nothing happened, and we are a democratic country, and we are the largest democracy in the world. That is the most important part. Now, what will happen after this? The second part will come for this chapter, and it will come tomorrow. So that means we are going to have this chapter. This is a bigger chapter. Two chapters have been merged. So we will be doing this in two parts. This is the first part, and second part is coming soon. Uh, I'll say thank you so much. And once again, I will ask you to join Swaymev Educational Foundation, which is a charitable organization, NGO. And I will request you, if you want to join this organization, so go to the different links which have been provided, and probably you will be able to register also for your membership to carry out the charity work which it is doing. Thank you so much. God bless you.